The big ships appeared in the sky one Tuesday morning. They hung over every major city on Earth like dark clouds. People stopped what they were doing and looked up. Some ran in fear. Others took pictures with their phones. No one knew what to. Dr. Jun Kim was woken by his phone ringing at 4:30 in the morning. "Dr. Kim, you need to come to the base right now," said the voice of General Park. "They're here." Jun didn't need to ask who they were. For years he had worked in a secret government program studying signals from space. He had always believed aliens were real. Now they had come. He grabbed his bag, which he kept packed for emergencies, and ran to his car. As he drove to the military base, he saw the huge ship hanging over Seoul. It was shaped like a smooth oval and glowed with a soft blue light. It made no sound. At the base, soldiers ran in all directions. Jun showed his ID and was taken to a large room filled with screens and computers. General Park stood in the middle, giving orders. "Dr. Kim, good," said the general. "The aliens have sent a message. They want to meet with Earth's leaders tomorrow. They will send a small ship to this base." "Have they said what they want?" asked Jun. "No, but they speak English. Or at least, their computers do." Jun spent the rest of the day helping prepare for the meeting. As Earth's top expert in possible alien languages, he would be part of the small team meeting the visitors. That night, no one slept much. The alien ships just hung in the sky, waiting. The next day, a small ship broke off from the main one and flew down to the base. It landed softly on the runway. Soldiers formed a line around it, their guns ready. General Park, Dr. Kim, and Captain Minji Lee stood at the front. Captain Lee was the head of Earth's new space defense program. She had been chosen because of her calm mind and quick thinking. "Remember," said General Park, "we are here to be friendly, but also to protect Earth. Let me do the talking." The small ship opened and 3 tall figures walked out. They looked almost human, but their skin was pale blue and their eyes were large and dark. They wore silver clothes that seemed to move like water. The one in front stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Dason of the Navarine people. We represent the Galactic Council." His voice sounded strange, like it was coming from a computer. "General." Park stepped forward and gave a short bow. "Welcome to Earth. I am General Park of the United Earth Defense Force. This is Dr. Kim, our top language expert, and Captain Lee of our space fleet." Ambassador Dason looked at them with what seemed like boredom. "We have been watching your world for some time. The Galactic Council has decided it is time to make official contact." The 3 humans were led into the small ship. Inside, it was much bigger than it looked from outside. The walls were covered in strange symbols that seemed to move and change. They sat at a round table. 2 more Navarines joined them. "This is Science Officer Jiwoo and Security Chief Do-hyun," said Ambassador Dason. The meeting lasted for hours. The Navarines asked many questions about Earth's governments, militaries, and technology. They showed little interest in Earth's culture or history. When Captain Lee asked about the Galactic Council and other alien species, Ambassador Dason waved his hand as if swatting a fly. "There are 12 major species in the Council. Many others exist but are not advanced enough to join. Humans are very primitive compared to most species we encounter." Dr. Kim noticed that when the Navarines talked among themselves, they used a different language, not English. It was musical and complex. His trained ear caught patterns in it, sounds that seemed oddly familiar. At one point, Jiwoo made a comment in their language, and all 3 Navarines made a sound like laughter. "What's funny?" asked Captain Lee. "Nothing important," said Ambassador Dason. "Science Officer Jiwoo merely observed that your communication methods are quite basic. You still use sound waves to speak. Most advanced species moved beyond this. Long ago." Captain Lee's face turned red, but she kept her calm. "We find our methods work well for us." The Navarines each carried a long staff decorated with carvings. When Ambassador Dason stood up to point at a map of Earth, Dr. Kim got a close look at these carvings. They were symbols, similar to the ones on the walls but not moving. Something about them tugged at his memory. "We will need to conduct more meetings," said Ambassador Dason at the end. "The Council must decide Earth's status. For now, you may continue your normal activities." Our ships will remain in position. When the Navarines left the room to speak, privately Dr. Kim quickly took out his phone and snapped pictures of the symbols on the wall. "What are you doing?" whispered Captain Lee. "There's something about their writing," said Dr. Kim. "I've seen something like it before." Before they could talk more, the Navarines returned. "We will return to our main ship now," said Ambassador Dason. "Tomorrow we will meet with your United Nations." As they walked back to the base, General Park looked worried. "They don't think much of us," he said. "No," agreed Captain Lee. "They see us as children. Did you notice how they barely looked at us when we spoke?" Dr. Kim was quiet, thinking about the symbols he had seen. Later that night, in his temporary room at the base, Dr. Kim laid out all his research. Years ago, he had studied strange markings found in ancient ruins around the world. Most other scientists thought they were just decorations or simple writing systems from early humans. But Dr. Kim had seen patterns in them, a system too complex for primitive people. He compared the pictures on his phone to his old research. His heart beat faster. The symbols were similar, very similar. He called Captain Lee. "Can you come to my room? I need to show you something." When Captain Lee arrived, he showed her the comparison. "These symbols on their staffs," he said, pointing to his phone, "look like these symbols found in ruins in Korea, China, and Egypt." He pointed to his old research papers. "They're not exactly the same, but they're related. Like how Spanish and Italian are different but come from the same root." Captain Lee stared at the papers. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that either ancient humans knew about these aliens or what?" asked Captain Lee. Dr. Kim looked up at her, his eyes wide with excitement and fear. "Or the Navarines have been to Earth before, a long time ago." Captain Lee sat down heavily on the chair. "If that's true, why don't they mention it? Why act like this is first contact?" "I don't know," said Dr. Kim. "But I need to research this more. Can you get me access to the National Museum archives? There are more samples of these writings there." "I'll try," said Captain Lee. "But be careful who you tell about this. If the Navarines are hiding something." They both looked out, the window at the huge ship hanging in the sky. For the first time, Dr. Kim wondered if these visitors were really here in peace. "Tomorrow at the UN, watch their staffs," said Dr. Kim. "I need better pictures of those symbols." As Captain Lee left, Dr. Kim turned back to his research. He had a feeling that understanding this ancient writing might be very important for Earth's future. Outside, the alien ship glowed in the night sky, watching and waiting. The meeting at the United Nations was tense. Representatives from all countries sat in the large round room waiting for the aliens. Dr. Kim sat with Captain Lee and General Park near the front. When the Navarines entered, everyone grew quiet. Ambassador Dason spoke to the world leaders in the same bored voice he had used with Dr. Kim. "The Galactic Council has rules for new species," he said. "We must decide if humans are ready to join galactic society, or if you need more time to develop." While the ambassador spoke, Dr. Kim took pictures of the staffs the Navarines carried. The symbols were clearer in the bright lights of the UN room. After the meeting, Captain Lee pulled Dr. Kim aside. "I got you access to the National Museum," she said, "and I found someone who can help us. Dr. Hannah Park is a language expert who has studied ancient writing systems." "Good," said Dr. Kim. "We need to work fast. I don't trust the Navarines. They're hiding something." Later that day, they met Dr. Park at the museum's back entrance. She was a small woman with short black hair and bright, curious eyes. "Captain Lee told me a little about what you found," she said, as she led them through empty halls. "It's hard to believe." "Wait until you see the pictures," said Dr. Kim. In a small room filled with books and papers, Dr. Kim showed Dr. Park the pictures of the alien symbols. "Now look at these," he said, opening an old book. It showed pictures of strange markings found on stone tablets in a cave in southern Korea. The tablets were over 15,000 years old. Dr. Park's eyes grew wide. "They're similar," she said. "Very similar." "Not just Korea," said Dr. Kim. He showed her more pictures of ancient writings from China, Japan, and even some from Europe and South America. All had elements that matched the alien symbols. "This can't be coincidence," said Dr. Park. They worked through the night. Dr. Park brought in an old professor named Taiho's son, who knew more about ancient history than anyone else. He was tall and thin with white hair and moved slowly, but his mind was sharp. "There have always been stories," said Professor Sun, looking at the symbols. "Stories of sky people who came to Earth long ago. Most historians ignore these as myths, but what if they were real? But why would the Navarines hide that they've been here before?" asked Captain Lee. "Maybe they don't know," said Dr. Park. "These symbols could be from thousands of years ago. Their society might have changed. Or maybe they do know and don't want us to know," said Dr. Kim darkly. Professor Sun pulled out more books and old papers. "There's a site we discovered 5 years ago," he said. "An underground chamber near Gyeongju. The walls are covered in symbols like these. We never understood them." "We need to go there," said Dr. Kim. Captain Lee shook her head. "We don't have time. The Navarines are meeting with world leaders again tomorrow. They're making decisions about Earth's future right now. Then we need to understand these symbols now," said Dr. Kim. They spent hours trying to decode the alien language. Dr. Park was very good with patterns and started to see how the symbols fit together. "I think this symbol means star or sky," she said, pointing. "And this one appears next to it often, maybe meaning people or travelers." "Sky people," said Professor Sun quietly. By morning, they had made progress. Dr. Park had figured out some basic parts of the language. It wasn't enough to read it fully, but they could understand simple concepts. "I think this set of symbols on the staff tells a story," she said. "Something about a journey and a return." Dr. Kim's phone rang. It was General Park. "The Navarines have made an announcement," said the general. "They say Earth will be classified as a developing world and put under Navarine protection. They're basically taking control of us." Dr. Kim's heart sank. "We need more time," he said. "We don't have it," said the general. "They're setting up what they call a guidance office in New York. They'll start giving orders to world governments tomorrow." After hanging up, Dr. Kim told the others the news. "This is wrong," said Captain Lee. "They can't just come here and take over. We need proof of their previous visit," said Dr. Kim. "Something that will force them to admit the truth." Professor Sun cleared his throat. "There might be something," he said. "Last year, a research team found objects on the moon, strange metal devices with symbols on them. They're kept at the Space Center. Can you get us in?" Dr. Kim asked Captain Lee. "I can try," she said. While Captain Lee made calls, Dr. Kim and Dr. Park continued working on the language. They used computers to compare all the symbols and find patterns. "Look at this," said Dr. Park, pointing to her screen. "This symbol appears in both the alien writing and in these cave paintings from 30,000 years ago in Australia. The symbol looked like a circle with lines radiating out and a smaller circle inside." "It could be the sun," said Dr. Kim. "No," said Professor Sun, looking closer. "The ancient people had a different symbol for the sun. This means something else." Just then, Captain Lee returned. "I got us clearance to visit the Space Center," she said. "But we need to go now." They quickly gathered their research and left. For the Space Center. On the way, they saw the huge alien ship still hanging over the city. Smaller ships now moved around it. At the Space Center, a nervous scientist met them at the door. "The objects are this way," he said, leading them through the building. "We've been studying them for months but can't figure out what they are." In a secure room, they saw 5 metal objects on a table. They were smooth and silver, shaped like eggs, but with flat bottoms so they could stand up. Each had lines of symbols carved around the middle. Dr. Kim felt his heart beat faster as he looked at the symbols. They matched the ones on the Navarine staffs exactly. "These aren't just similar," he said. "They're identical." Dr. Park ran her fingers over the symbols. "This is amazing," she said. "With these, we might be able to decode more of the language." The scientist looked confused. "You know what these symbols mean?" We're starting to, said Dr. Kim. And it might be the most important thing humans have ever learned. Just then alarms started going off throughout the building. The scientist's radio crackled. What's happening? Asked Captain Lee. The scientist listened to his radio, then looked up with fear in his eyes. It's the aliens, he said. They've sent ships to the space center. They say they're coming to collect these objects. Dr. Kim and the others looked at each other. Whatever these objects were, the Navarines didn't want humans to have them. We need to hide these, said Dr. Kim, picking up one of the metal eggs. And we need to figure out what they say before the Navarines get here. Captain Lee nodded. I'll try to slow them down. As she left to talk to security, Dr. Kim, Dr. Park, and Professor Sun huddled around the objects, racing to understand the secret message from the past. Dr. Kim worked fast. He knew they didn't have much time before the Navarines arrived. He took pictures of each of the 5 metal eggs, making sure to capture all the symbols. We need to get these somewhere safe, he said. If the Navarines want them so badly, they must be important. Dr. Park was typing symbols into her computer, comparing them with the ancient writings they had studied. I think I'm starting to understand parts of it, she said. This symbol appears near the top of each egg. I believe it means record or memory. Professor Sun looked at the security cameras showing the front of the building. The aliens are landing, he said. 3 small ships. Captain Lee came back into the room. I've called for military backup, but they won't get here in time, she said. We need to move now. Dr. Kim pointed to a door at the back of the lab. Where does that go? The scientist who had shown them in looked nervous. It leads to the storage tunnels under the building. But where can you go? The aliens will find you. Just need time, said Dr. Kim. Time to understand what these eggs say. They quickly gathered the 5 metal eggs into a bag. Dr. Park copied all her files onto a small drive. As they were about to leave, Professor Sun stopped them. Wait, he said. We should leave 1 egg here. If we take all of them, the Navarines will know and hunt us down. Dr. Kim nodded. It was a smart idea. They left 1 egg on the table and took the other 4. The storage tunnels were dark and cold. They ran through them, following the scientist, who knew the way. Behind them, they heard voices entering the lab they had just left. This way, said the scientist, leading them to a small room filled with old equipment. No one uses this room anymore. You can hide here for a while. They thanked him, and he left to go back to the lab. He would tell the Navarines that he didn't know anything about the missing eggs. In the small room, they set up their computers and got to work. Dr. Park connected her computer to a projector so they could all see the symbols enlarged on a wall. The eggs all tell parts of the same story, she said after studying them for a while. They're like chapters in a book. Dr. Kim looked at the first set of symbols. What does it say? Dr. Park typed and checked her notes. It's still rough, but I think it says something like, Record of the Great Journey from Earth, Year of the Long Winter. They all looked at each other. From Earth, Captain Lee repeated. So they did come from here. Professor Sun nodded slowly. The ancient myths might be true. The Sky People didn't come to Earth. They came from Earth. They continued translating. The work was slow, but as they understood more symbols, the process got faster. After 2 hours, they had decoded much of the first egg. It tells of a people who lived on Earth long ago, said Dr. Park, reading from her screen. They built great cities and had advanced technology. But there was a disaster, something about the sun becoming unstable. A solar flare, maybe, said Dr. Kim. A big one could destroy technology and make life on Earth very hard. The record says they built ships to leave Earth, continued Dr. Park. They planned to return when it was safe, but something went wrong. Many ships were lost. The survivors found new worlds and built new homes. Captain Lee paced the small room. So the Navarines' ancestors were from Earth. They're basically human, or at least, they started as human. But they've changed, said Dr. Kim. Maybe they adapted to their new worlds, or used technology to change themselves. The question is, do they know this? Asked Professor Sun. Do the Navarines know they came from Earth? They moved on to the Second egg. This one told of the early years on new planets. Life was hard and many died. The survivors began to change to better live in their new homes. Some used machines to make these changes happen faster. The third egg had a different kind of story. It spoke of a promise, a vow made by the leaders of those who left. "We vow to return to the home world when 10,000 years have passed," read Dr. Park. "We will share what we have learned and help rebuild what was lost. Earth shall not be forgotten." 10,000 years, said Dr. Kim. These eggs must be at least that old. But they didn't return as friends, said Captain Lee. They came as conquerors. The fourth egg was harder to translate. It talked about a split among the space travelers. Some wanted to remember Earth and keep their promise. Others wanted to forget the past and build a new future. Those who called themselves Navarines rejected the old ways, read Dr. Park slowly. They said Earth was weak and should be forgotten. They destroyed the old records and changed our history. So that's it, said Dr. Kim. The Navarines know about Earth, but they've hidden it from their own people. They've erased their past. Just then, they heard a loud noise from the tunnel. Outside, voices were coming closer. They're searching the tunnels, whispered Captain Lee. She took out her gun. We need to get this information out, said Dr. Kim. If the Navarines find us, they'll destroy everything we've learned. Dr. Park quickly copied all their work onto small drives. She gave one to each person. We need to split up, said Captain Lee. It's our best chance. They agreed on a meeting place, a small house outside the city that belonged to Professor Sun. Then they prepared to leave in different directions. Before they left, Dr. Kim asked one more question. Why were these eggs on the moon? Professor Sun thought for a moment. Maybe they were left as a message, he said. Put somewhere safe where they would survive for thousands of years, waiting for humans to find them when we were ready. The voices were getting closer. They had to move now. One more thing, said Dr. Park. The fourth egg mentioned something called the Guardian Song. It says this song is the key to activating some kind of ancient system left on Earth. What kind of system? Asked Dr. Kim. It doesn't say, said Dr. Park. But it might be important. They carefully packed the metal eggs, 2 in Dr. Kim's bag and 2 in Dr. Park's. Then they prepared to leave. If any of us are caught, said Captain Lee, the others must continue. The whole world depends on this now. They nodded to each other, then one by one slipped out different doors into the tunnels. Dr. Kim went last, holding tightly to his bag with the ancient eggs inside. As he moved through the dark tunnel, he heard alien voices behind him. The Navarines were getting closer. He had to move faster. In his mind, he kept thinking about what they had learned. The aliens who looked down on humans had once been human themselves. They had forgotten their past, or worse, hidden it on purpose. And somewhere on Earth there was something called the Guardian Song, a key to some ancient system that might help humanity stand against the Navarines. He had to find it before it was too late. Dr. Kim ran through the dark streets of the city. It was night now, and the giant alien ship glowed blue against the black sky. Smaller ships flew around it like bees around a hive. He kept to the shadows, staying away from main roads. The metal eggs felt heavy in his bag. Twice he had to hide as alien ships flew overhead, their lights scanning the ground. It took him 3 hours to reach Professor Sun's house outside the city. It was a small wooden building surrounded by trees. He knocked softly on the door in the pattern they had agreed on. 3 quick knocks, then 2 slow ones. The door opened, and Captain Lee pulled him inside quickly. You made it, she said. We were worried. Professor Sun and Dr. Park were already there, sitting at a table covered with papers and computers. Did anyone follow you? Asked Dr. Park. I don't think so, said Dr. Kim. But the city is full of alien ships. They're looking for us. He put his bag on the table and took out the 2 metal eggs. Dr. Park had the other 2 ready. They went back to work translating the rest of the symbols. As the night went on, they learned more about the mysterious Guardian Song. The 4th egg had a partial description of it. It says the song is not music as we think of it, said Dr. Park. It's a sequence of sounds and words in the ancient language. When spoken in the right place, it will activate the Guardian. What is the Guardian? Asked Captain Lee. The fifth egg might tell us, said Dr. Park, but we still need to translate more of it. Just then, Professor Sun's old radio crackled. He turned it on, and they heard a news report. The Navarine leadership has declared a global emergency, said the voice on the radio. They claim dangerous technology has been stolen from them. All humans are ordered to stay in their homes while the Navarines conduct searches. Any human found with alien technology will be taken for questioning. Captain Lee turned off the radio. They're not wasting time. We need to work faster, said Dr. Kim. By morning, they had translated most of the fifth egg. Its message was clear. Before leaving Earth, the ancient space travelers had built something called the Guardian. It was a machine or system that would protect Earth if they never returned, or if those who returned had bad intentions. The Guardian was hidden somewhere secure, read Dr. Park, a place of stone and water where the sky touches the earth. That could be anywhere, said Captain Lee, in frustration. Professor Sun thought for a moment. Maybe not, he said. There are ancient temples high in the mountains, places built long ago that match that description. The egg says the Guardian will know its creators by their voice, continued Dr. Park. The song must be spoken by one who understands the old ways. I think it means someone who can speak their language, said Dr. Kim. The language we've been translating. They spent the next few hours practicing the sounds of the ancient language. Dr. Park was best at it. Her training in linguistics helped her form the strange sounds correctly. Around noon, they heard vehicles approaching the house. They've found us, said Captain Lee, looking out the window. Military vehicles, but I bet the Navarines are with them. We need to leave, said Dr. Kim. Now. They quickly packed their research and the metal eggs. Professor Sun led them out a back door and into the woods behind his house. They could hear people shouting as they ran deeper into the trees. I know where to go, said Professor Sun. There's an old temple in these mountains. It might be what the egg describes. They followed him through the forest, climbing higher into the mountains. It was hard going, especially for Professor Sun, who was old. But he kept moving, leading them along paths only he knew. After hours of walking, they reached a small temple built into the side of a mountain. It was very old, with stone columns and a roof that had mostly fallen in. A small waterfall ran beside it, forming a pool in front. This place is over 3,000 years old, said Professor Sun, but the foundations are much older. They entered the temple carefully. Inside, the walls were covered with faded paintings and carved symbols. Dr. Kim and Dr. Park immediately recognized. Some of the symbols, they matched those on the metal eggs. This is it, said Dr. Kim excitedly. This must be where the Guardian is hidden. They explored the temple, looking for anything unusual. In the back, they found a round stone door set into the mountain itself. The door was covered in the same symbols they had been studying. Can you read what it says? Asked Captain Lee. Dr. Park studied the symbols. It says this is the resting place of the Guardian. Only the true voice can awaken it. The song, said Dr. Kim. We need to speak the Guardian's song here. They checked their translations again, making sure they had the song right. It was a sequence of words and sounds in the ancient language. Dr. Park practiced it several times. I think I'm ready, she said finally. She stood before the stone door and began to speak the song. The strange words echoed in the small temple. Nothing happened at first, but as she continued, the symbols on the door began to glow with a soft blue light. When she finished the song, the ground shook slightly. Then slowly, the stone door began to move, sliding to the side to reveal a dark passage beyond. Captain Lee used her flashlight to look inside. The passage led deeper into the mountain. They followed it cautiously, the light showing more symbols on the walls as they went. The passage opened into a large round room. As they entered, lights came on automatically, revealing a space filled with strange machines and devices. In the center stood what looked like a control panel with a chair in front of it. This technology is advanced, said Dr. Kim in wonder. How could this be here for thousands of years? Before anyone could answer, they heard voices from the temple. The Navarines had found them. Quick, close the door, said Captain Lee, but it was too late. Ambassador Dason walked into the room, followed by several Navarine guards with weapons. Behind them came human soldiers looking nervous. So this is where you ran to, said Ambassador Dason. His voice was no longer bored. He sounded angry. You've caused us a lot of trouble. We know the truth, said Dr. Kim, stepping forward. We know that your people came from Earth. You're human, just like us. Ambassador Dason's face showed shock for a moment before he controlled it. Nonsense, he said. These are just old ruins. Nothing important. Then why did you follow us here? Asked Captain Lee. Why were you so desperate to get those metal eggs back? The ambassador ignored her question. You will hand over those artifacts now, he said. And all your research. Then you will be taken for questioning. Dr. Park had been looking at the control panel while they talked. Now she stepped up to it and placed her hand on a flat surface. Immediately, the machines in the room hummed to life. What are you doing? Demanded Ambassador Dason, suddenly alarmed. Waking the Guardian, said Dr. Park. She began to speak in the ancient language again, reading symbols that appeared on the control panel. Stop her, shouted the ambassador to his guards. But as the guards moved forward, a shield of blue light appeared between them and the humans. The Navarines could not pass through it. Dr. Park continued speaking, her voice growing stronger. The whole room was glowing now, and a deep humming filled the air. Ambassador Dason looked truly frightened, for the first time. You don't know what you're doing, he said. You'll destroy everything. Dr. Kim stepped close to the blue shield facing the ambassador. Tell us the truth, he said. Tell us why you really came to Earth. Behind him, Dr. Park kept speaking. The ancient words. The Guardian was waking up, and whatever it was, the Navarines were afraid of it. Ambassador Dason stared at the blue shield with fear in his eyes. His guards tried to shoot through it, but their weapons had no effect. You must stop this now, he shouted. You don't understand what you're doing. Behind the shield, Dr. Park continued speaking the ancient words. The control panel was now projecting images in the air above it, star maps, diagrams, and rows of the ancient symbols. Dr. Kim watched Ambassador Dason closely. The Navarine's fear told him everything he needed to know. You knew about this place, said Dr. Kim. You knew what was hidden here. The ambassador's face changed. His look of fear was replaced by anger. Of course we knew, he said. Why do you think we came to Earth? We came to make sure the Guardian stayed asleep. Tell us the truth, said Captain Lee. All of it. Ambassador Dason looked at the glowing machines and then back at the humans. He seemed to realize he had no choice. Yes, our ancestors came from Earth, he admitted. They left during the Great Disaster 10,000 years ago, but they did not plan to return as saviors. What do you mean? Asked Dr. Kim. The people who left Earth were not the best of humanity, said the ambassador. They were the powerful ones who built ships to save themselves and left the rest to die. When they found new worlds, they created a new history. They said they had always lived among the stars, that Earth was just a primitive world they discovered. Professor Sun shook his head sadly. They abandoned their own people and then erased them from history. It worked for thousands of years, continued Ambassador Dason. We built a great civilization and joined the Galactic Council. But there were always rumors, old stories about our true origins. Some tried to find the truth. And when humans started developing space technology, you got worried, said Dr. Kim. Yes, admitted the ambassador. If humans reached the stars and met other species, the truth might come out. And worse, if humans found and activated the Guardian. The room trembled as the machines grew louder. Dr. Park had stopped speaking, but the control panel continued to work on its own now. What exactly is the Guardian? Asked Captain Lee. A weapon, said Ambassador Dason. A powerful system built by those who stayed on Earth. They knew those who left might one day return as enemies, not friends. The Guardian was their protection, and you came to destroy it before we could find it, said Dr. Kim. We came to protect our civilization, said the ambassador angrily. If the Guardian activates, it will send a message to every world in the galaxy. It will tell everyone that the Navarines lied about their history, that we abandoned our home world and tried to conquer it. The Galactic Council would never trust us again. As they spoke, the control panel displayed more images. It showed Earth, as it was thousands of years ago, with great cities now long gone. It showed the disaster, the sun flaring and sending waves of fire toward Earth. It showed ships leaving, carrying the rich and powerful away, while billions were left behind. Your ancestors weren't heroes, said Dr. Kim, understanding now. They were cowards who left everyone else to die. And yours were too weak to save themselves, said the ambassador. No, said Professor Sun, looking at the images. Our ancestors survived. They rebuilt. They remembered. He pointed to symbols on the wall. They created this place so that one day we would know the truth. The control panel suddenly projected a new image, a large, older Navarine wearing ceremonial robes. But it wasn't a picture. The figure moved and began to speak in the ancient language. Dr. Park translated, "This is the message of the Guardian, set to activate when the heirs of Earth face those who abandoned us. If you are hearing this, then both humans and Navarines have survived, and the abandoned have met the abandoners." Everyone in the room, humans and Navarines alike, watched in silence as the message continued. Long ago, we were one people. Those who could left. Those who stayed endured. We who stayed built this Guardian not for revenge but for truth. All beings deserve to know their true history. The old Navarine in the projection looked sad. To those who left, we forgive you. Fear drove your actions, but truth must now replace lies. To those who stayed and survived, be proud. Your ancestors endured and rebuilt. Now both children of Earth must decide their future together. The projection changed to show a small device, rising from the control panel. It glowed with blue light. This beacon will send our true history to all worlds, continued the voice. Not to punish, but to heal. Only when truth is known can a real future begin. Ambassador Dason looked desperate. You can't activate that beacon. Our position in the council will be destroyed. Dr. Kim looked at his friends. They had discovered a truth that would change everything. But was exposing the Navarines the right thing to do? Maybe there's another way, said Dr. Kim slowly. A way that honors the Guardian's message of forgiveness. He stepped closer to the shield. Ambassador, what if we don't activate the beacon right away? What if we give you a chance to tell the truth yourselves, to make things right? The ambassador looked surprised. What do you mean? Earth should join the Galactic Council as equals, not as a protected world, said Dr. Kim. You acknowledge our shared history. You help us instead of controlling us. And you begin to tell the truth about your origins to your own people. Captain Lee stepped forward. If you refuse, we activate. The beacon. If you agree, we keep it as insurance, but give you time to change things yourselves. The ambassador looked at the beacon, then at the humans. For the first time, he seemed to really see them, not as primitives, but as equals. The council leaders might agree to this, he said finally, but it would mean great changes for our society. That's the point, said Dr. Kim. Both our societies need to change. We need to remember that we're the same people, separated by time and space, but still connected. The blue shield flickered and disappeared. Dr. Park had done something at the control panel. We're showing trust, she said. Now you show some too. Ambassador Dason ordered his guards to lower their weapons. The human soldiers behind them looked relieved. I will take your proposal to the council, said the ambassador. I cannot promise they will accept it, but I will try. That's all we ask, said Dr. Kim. In the days that followed, things changed quickly. The Navarines called back most of their ships. A new group of representatives came from the Galactic Council, not just Navarines but beings from other worlds too. They were surprised to learn about the shared history of humans and Navarines, but many thought it was a good thing that the truth was coming out. A month later, Dr. Kim, Dr. Park, Captain Lee, and Professor Sun were invited to attend a council meeting on the main Navarine ship. They brought the Guardian's beacon with them, still inactive but ready if needed. In the great council chamber, beings from 12 advanced civilizations listened as Ambassador Daisun told the true story of his people's origins. Some council members were angry about the deception, but others were impressed that the Navarines were finally telling the truth. When it was the humans' turn to speak, Dr. Kim stepped forward. All eyes in the chamber turned to him. "Long ago, our people were divided," he said. "Some left Earth while others stayed. Both groups survived and built new civilizations. Today we have a chance to become one people again, not by conquering or controlling each other, but by remembering our shared past and working toward a shared future." He spoke more of Earth's history, of how humans had endured and rebuilt after the great disaster. He spoke in the ancient language that both humans and Navarines had once shared, showing that humans had remembered what the Navarines had tried to forget. When he finished, the chamber was silent. Then one council member stood. "Earth has proven itself worthy of joining our community," the alien said. "Not because of their technology, but because of their wisdom. They chose truth and reconciliation over revenge. I vote to accept Earth as a full council member." One by one, other council members stood and agreed. Even most of the Navarines voted yes. As they left the council chamber, Captain Lee smiled at Dr. Kim. "They're not laughing at humans anymore," she said. "No," agreed Dr. Kim. "Now they're listening." Professor Sun looked out a window at Earth, glowing blue and green below them. "Our ancestors would be proud," he said. "They built the Guardian, not for war but for truth." Dr. Park nodded. "And now that truth has set both our peoples free." As their ship carried them back to Earth, Dr. Kim thought about the long journey that had brought humans and Navarines apart and now back together again. The dead language of their ancestors had not stayed dead after all. It had come back to life just when it was needed most, to remind both peoples of who they really were. The stars around them seemed brighter somehow, now that the truth was shining among them.